me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. But it comes to the end of my life. Jesus saved me now. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me now. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me now. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me now. Jesus saved me now. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me now. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me now. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. Happiness comes. Gladness comes to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me now. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me now. Happiness comes so seldom. Gladness comes to me. It is here in the Father's kingdom. It was there for me. You took me. And you washed away my sins. You washed away my sins.
You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you're having a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're checking this out. This is this is Hunter. Happy Sunday, y'all. As I'm of course now having technical difficulties at all that fucking time, and, and now of course I know. There we go. I got it. I'm excited to have friend of the show, friend in real life. You of course know him from the Afternoon Tune, which he does an incredible job on there. I got Nick here tonight. Nick, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just came back from a long week at sea. Got to go down to Tampa, visit the family, bring the cats down there, and now I get to go back out and do it again.
Oh, fun! Yeah, Nick is over. Nick is over on the East Coast. We won't keep him too long tonight. Real quick before we jump into our review, because we're actually I'm doing two. We're going to be doing our review for Ready or Not, which I'm excited to bring. And then I will unleash my fury on reviewing Joker Folie, which goddamn. A movie that actually dropped a whole star in the last 3 days for me, because I've had people go like, what do you think of it? And yeah, y'all, like, spoiler alert, I haven't reviewed Madam Web yet. I actually like it worse than less than Madam Web. Like
that is scathing. I actually cannot wait to see this myself.
I'm just like I was gonna do a DCEU retrospective, and honestly, at this point, I'm doing it tonight because this is like I want to leave this in the past and just be excited for Superman next year, because I have no doubt that James Gunn will, at the very worst, make a really, really good Superman film. But I'm so happy Joker's bombing. Like, I rarely root for films to do poorly, but I'm so happy this is not doing well. But I'll save that for my rant later. Before we jump in here, I will just say, Nick, I know you got the cats. You got a couple cats recently. Are you looking at Halloween costumes for them yet, or are we at that point?
I'm not gonna say no. Just looking in PetSmart, you see the whole displays they have of different pet costumes. But I don't want to get anything now because I'm afraid they're gonna get too big. Because we got them right as they were babies. We got them at 2 months oldish. And they've already doubled the size of what they were when we got them. So I'm worried they're gonna get too big for whatever costume I get them.
That's fair. You probably want to wait till the 26th and then get him a costume then. We've had Milo. He'll be 3 next year, and he's going through his teenage shit, which is apparently a thing with cats. So before we jump in the review, just real quick, because it genuinely made my day. So woke up, watched my football this morning as per my Sunday tradition, and Milo is huge on the laser pointer. That is his shit. He loves the thing. I bought one 2 months ago just to see if he would like it, and he actually recognizes the sound of the case. If I hit the case, he'll perk up. He recognizes what it looks like. It's so weird. Way too smart for his own good. But my stone ass is playing with him this morning with the laser pointer, and I put it up on the door, and he runs to the door, basically pulls a Tom, like an Ethan Hunt, bounces off of the door. He at least got 3 feet off the ground, and then basically bounced off the door and did a 360 and landed on his feet. And I'm just like, God damn it! If I had videoed this would have been my TikTok viral moment. I just needed to just post this video, and I would have been good. But so now I just need to start recording everything that Milo does. But But with that said, let's get into our first review, Ready or Not, a film that Nick personally recommended to me.
Of course.
We've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, when it comes to horror, I'm basically your guy. because I remember 2022. That was one of the best years for theatrically released horror of at least my entire adult life, and I recommended to you to watch X and the Black Phone of that year.
2 for 2. Yeah, 2 for 2.
For 3, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I'll give you that. So I've been a big fan of everything that Nick has recommended, and one thing that I ended up doing, I did a double feature of this in the menu. And I will say, great dub feature. If you're wanting a fun double feature, I'd highly recommend. They're both on the menu's on Prime right now, and then this is on Hulu right now. So if you want to do that double feature, I would highly recommend. But getting into the review proper, Samara Weaving, I swear to God, like I'm not often incorrect in my critic shit, but I swear to God, I called her Margot Robbie for like a year and a half, and then I like looked at her. I was like, wait a minute, that's not fuck, that's not Margot Robbie. That's fucking like it honestly tripped me out.
It's a trippy thing, especially when you get a movie like Babylon, where they're both and playing like diametrically opposed characters, and you're like, wait a minute, did y'all just cast another Margot Robbie?
Yeah, no, it honestly, like, it was one of those, like, random things, like on the Tuesday, I looked at the poster, I was like, wait a minute, that's not fucking Margot Robbie. I was like, God damn it, I'd been, like, and I think I'm on, like...
Every time I saw this trailer, I could have sworn, okay, you're telling me that is not Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Bullshit, and I do not believe you.
And I got mad at myself, because I think I'm on at least a recording or two calling her Margot Robbie, so I know you're both fans of each other, but my bad. I felt I was like, the swing and a miss. But Samara Weaving, you know her, of course, from Bill and Ted Face the Music is very underrated. If y'all haven't seen that yet, add that to your list. That's really good shit. But you know her from that. You know her from Mayhem, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, another film that's underrated as fuck if y'all haven't seen it. But she goes ahead and she plays Grace, and she is newly married, lucky bastard, to Mark O'Brien's Alex. You know Mark O'Brien from Arrival, one of the best sci-fi films in the last 20 years, The Righteous, and Marriage Story, one of the most devastating films in the last 20 years. So I mean, he's married to Samara Weaving. He's doing great in life, but also he's a white man, so you can get away with anything, and he's rich. Holy shit, what a trifecta! So
he can really get away with anything.
Yeah, so he's having like the best life ever, and so they go ahead and they go to his family's home, and I'm saying home like kind of in quotes, because this is not a home. This is a fucking estate. This is
there's a line between like house, home, and estate and manor, and that's what this movie takes place in.
I swear I heard the Downton Abbey theme. Like it is wild, like how big this estate is. And so we're introduced to his family, Tony, who's played by Henry Czerny, Becky, who's played by Andy McDowell, which, my God, that woman just
phenomenally.
Yeah, Gilf vibes, I guess. I guess it would be that, which, you know, I'm with it. Who doesn't like getting $5 after a good job? But you've got her. Emily might be my favorite character. Like, that's not Grace in this movie. He's played by Mary Scarfano, who has a great running gag that she just keeps killing people, which holy shit,
she keeps accidentally killing the help.
Yeah, which is really fucking funny. And for me, even though I haven't mentioned him yet, Alex's brother, Daniel, who's played by Adam Brody. Adam Brody is one of those actors that whenever I see him pop up in something, whether it's American Fiction, which he's fucking great in, or Promising Young Woman, or Shazam, the motherfucker he gets movies. Like, he just gets, like, he commits fully, no matter what. And especially when he plays a piece of shit, he's great at it. He's great at playing a piece of shit, and he really does like lean into it. And I think that's the relationship that gave me the most to chew on, was the relationship between Alex and Daniel, because Daniel is kind of like Brett. Was it? I think blank his last name. But he was in oh my god, he was in Boy Kills World. He's kind of that character. You know about Brett? Yeah, like Brett, like Gernstein or something.
Oh,
like
Brett
that.
Gelman.
Thank you. Yeah. He's very much that character in this. Like they've done this, like they have this fucked up tradition where they make someone who marries into the family play a game, and there's one card that basically means that, oh, you play hide or seek, and if you don't make it to sunrise, they kill you. Some real cult shit. But very much like that character in in Boy Kills World, he's just over it. Like he's just tired. He's like, we keep doing this shit. Like I know it's dumb, but I also like being rich, so I'm not gonna, rock the boat or say shit. But he's tired. He's tired as hell, and the movie does a great job of conveying that. And what I love about this, very much in the same way I do the menu, is that you just feel so bad for Grace, because she clearly loves this dude. Like she clearly loves Alex, and Alex is like, oh yeah, like basically like,
yeah, it's like from his point of view, yeah, it's like a stupid tradition. They've only played hide and seek once in the last 50 years. You've had like at least 3 more marriages to go off of that have all gone fairly solid. It's like, you know what, maybe roll the dice on this.
And unfortunately, the dice is rolled, and she, of course, gets the one fucking card you're not supposed to get. And that's where shit just gets like that happy, like, oh my god, we're so happy you're in the family. That switch gets flipped, and it's like, all right, bitch, we're here. Like, we don't want to lose our wealth, so you have to go.
It gave me the same vibes of, and it's pretty fitting because this was another movie that came out the same year. It gave me the same vibes as something like Knives Out, where every member of that family is like saying, yes, my father's nurse, I really wanted you at the funeral, but I got outvoted, and they're all saying it.
Yeah, they're all just monsters. Like at the end of the day, it's about covering their ass. And what's so amazing about this, and I can't even give her too much shit for it. I think Grace is so shocked by the general concept, because there is there's this point where Alex basically grabs her and pulls her behind the bed, and it's like shut up, bitch, and they go ahead and go into the room, and she has to process this shit in real time, that, oh yeah, my family is gonna try to kill you. And then you have to have that double reckoning of like, oh shit, you knew that there was a chance this would happen, and you said fuck it. So fuck you off that. And the way that Weaving sells it, you're devastated for her. It's like, god damn it. But
while the movie does play that element straight in selling how sorrowful Grace is, the movie never forgets to be funny. Yes. It never forgets it, because Mark O'Brien has a line like, "You were the one who wanted to get married." I was like, yeah,
all the gaslighting was amazing. Like,
it was amazing.
Like it's your fault you loved me. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like,
motherfucker.
Like, and even he, as soon as it leaves his mouth, he's like, but it's like, yeah, it's fucking incredible. But this is where so I love these horror types of films. They're very much like bottle films. This is very similar in the vein of something like Abigail, which I also adore.
That's by no accident. Same directors, Matt Bettelman-Leopin and Tyler Gillette, who more commonly known as Radio Silence. They've done the last 2 Scream films. They did segments on VHS as well.
Yeah, they're quickly becoming these these directors for me, then I'm like, okay, guys, like I see their name. I'm like, all right, let's see what this is. So big fan of both of them. And one thing that they're really great at, like as you mentioned, is balancing horror with humor. We mentioned the one character, Emily, where she kills this person on accident because she's fucking with the gun, which yeah, don't do that. And everyone in the family is like, bitch, like, what are you doing?
Their first question is, does killing the help count?
Yeah, which very Downton Abbey-ish, honestly, like when they say that shit. But it's one of those things where you're like, you wonder, like, how many times has she done this before? Because it's definitely not the first time. Because like the way they say it, they're surprised that it's happened today, but clearly not surprised that it's happened ever. So you're like, okay, she's done this shit several other times, and you've just kind of accepted it as a, you know, as a need. I love that. I love that gag, and kind of like the Al Pacino bit in Tropic Thunder. They only use the gag like 3 or 4 times, but each time they use it, it's fucking great. Like
it's like a bit that could, you know, be funny, get old, but it's kind of a beat that, you know, is funny from jump. It kind of gets old, but then it circles right back around to being funny.
Yeah, they did a great job finding that balance. So like props to them on that. I will say too, I love the dad. Tony. The dad is a fucking, like, he's such a dick, because even as he's explaining their wealth, like, there is definitely, like, there is no, like, we killed a bunch of minorities to get here, but there definitely is, like, there's a bunch of minorities that we killed. Like
there is a lot of bodies in that little gut check.
In very similarly, in Abigail, there is this moment with a ton of bodies that our heroine has to get out of, and oh man, like, so I will say that's the shit that grosses me out the most, like, because I hate being dirty. It's one of the reasons why camping is like I fucking hate camping for that reason alone. I will never go camping with you people unless it's a glamping, unless I'm in a fucking trailer, like a nice trailer too. I'm not talking like that, like, you know, that Greendale spaceship shit. Like, I'm talking like a nice fucking trailer. Like, unless I'm in something like that, do not ask me to go camping. But there is this moment where Grace is in this like pit of bodies, and I just went, fuck you, fuck that, I would kill you off that.
No, in the circumstances leading up to that scene, because the movie opens with young Daniel and Alex like hiding while the family is performing their little hunt ritual, and it opens up on a great bit because one of the like new kids walks in on Grace in the barn, and she thinks it, and we're led to believe like, oh, this kid's gonna try and help her, he's gonna do the right thing. Nope. just shoots her in the hand, and she decks this 12-year-old, and it's amazing.
So straight up, that is the part that made me cringe the most, because you see this kid.
Oh god. See this kid. Oh.
So one thing, he shoots, like, so as you said, he shoots her through the hand, which also, like, fuck you for that, you little shit. Like, as soon as he does it, you're like, fuck. But then there's this point she has to get out of that pit of bodies, and there's this nail, and they follow the Hitchcock rule.
It does such a good job of building that tension, because you know it's gonna get used.
And so there's that point where she's hanging off of the ledge, and she's like, she has to have that conversation internally of, okay, do I want to fall in this pit of bodies? Not great, be stuck in here, or do I slam my hand that just has a hole in it and slam it in the nail and pull myself up? And I'm sitting there watching it, and I know it's coming, like you know it's coming. But the way they do it, and to your point, the way they build the tension, you're just like, no. And so when she slams her hand down and she screams, you're just like
it is like the scene that grants Samara Weaving the title of modern scream queen, because she is one of the best screamers in Hollywood today.
I mean, I know I want to see Samara get nailed, but this is ridiculous to them. Come on, people, you knew that joke was coming. But that genuinely, like, My partner, shit like that always makes her just go like, no, no, no. And she just was like, fuck that kid.
Everybody I've shown this movie to had the exact same reaction. Even Grace had the same reaction. She just goes on a rant. It's like, fuck you, little kid, you little fuck.
It's so good. It's very much like when Mac and Charlie beat up all those kids for stealing their bike. It's just like it's almost therapeutic because you know those kids are shit and they deserve it. But then like the rest of the movie really is like building tension from one scene to another as far as Grace just trying to make it. And I don't have his name here, but the butler, holy fuck, that butler is like. The thing is I love about the butler is like there's very much kind of that Django Unchained aspect to it where you're like how much shit have you seen throughout the years that you're just like I'm in this level of class and I'm just gonna push that guilt way deep down and just never address it.
He's a smash the glass ceiling behind him after he comes up.
Absolutely, because he even hints at a point. He even talks about like like I've seen multiple things, like I've seen like a lot like on this property, and you're like, oh man, you've probably seen like the darkest shit, and you're just like, no, like this family takes care of me. Like it's a very like the film does a very good job of not like showing you everything, but also giving you enough to connect the dot. Like this film trusts its audience, which I wish more films would do.
And that's something that Olpen and Gillett are really great at, especially as their careers have progressed, as they've done the Scream films, and most recently with Abigail. Just from the set dressing and from how Alicia Ware acts in that movie, you can tell a lot about that character without having like full-on scenes of exposition being done.
Yeah, like it's wild how like so that is one scene that I love that the film kind of fucks with you on, because there's a point where Grace gets this gun and she fucking loads up like Rambo Rambo style. You're like, oh shit, she's got the shells around her shoulder and everything. She looks badass too. Like she ends up like part of her dress.
It's one of those things with when I saw this movie in the theater for the first time, I knew right away I was probably going to see this exact costume at like Halloween, either that or the next year.
Oh yeah, and but the movie plays a great trick on you. It's like, oh yeah, those are fake shells. It's like, oh no, like but it really shows Grace's cunning, and it shows how she is like, as cheesy as it is, she just loves her dude, and all she asks for is for him to just not. Like it's so great because it is like Nicholas Hoult in The Menu when you're like, motherfucker, you knew this was a, and he's just like, oh, I didn't care. You're like, oh wow, asshole. Like
and that's something that I think the movie plays with the whole time, because with this movie and with the character of Alex, there's like this belief that he honestly doesn't believe the curse is real. He thinks that if he helps her get out of this, she'll like stay with him, or they'll be able to go and be happy together. And the movie plays with kind of that character sense of entitlement really well, especially towards the end of the movie.
Well, so I agree. One thing that I love about this too is that the film does a great job of kind of making you think like, is there a curse? Like,
the whole movie, it plays with you. It's like it's almost setting it up to like have you think, yeah, this curse isn't real.
Oh, it's 1,000%. But I love that they give you enough that you're thinking about it like in both ways. Because I kept going back and forth. I was like, this could be bullshit. Like this could just be them like being paranoid assholes. But then there's that part when you start thinking about it, you're like, well, considering the time period they're in, like maybe there actually is a curse attached to it. So like the film does a great job back and forth of making you kind of like second guess everything. One of my favorite scenes in the film, and I'll tie this back to another film that Nick recommended that I love, Fresh. There's this point where Grace is out in the middle of the woods, and she ends up being able to steal a car. And she basically has like On Track or their equivalent in this world, like on the phone. And these fucking rich assholes, because they can't that is something. Sorry, I just remember this in real time. That is something that I love about these people, is like they're all about tradition. Like, we have to use these traditional cards, these traditional game pieces, and da 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 da. But
yeah,
when
the
Grace
second things go wrong,
yeah, they're like, oh fuck it, let's use the cameras, and even. But they're even like, well, they wouldn't have had cameras back when this curse was established, and they're like, oh well, we don't want to die, so fuck Grace and fuck playing fair. It's like, oh well, fuck you guys. It's like yeah, like rich people not playing fair. What are they, Brett Favre? But
I even love that Henry Cerny has a moment where he's like looking at that portrait of his ancestor. It's like, really, you couldn't have gotten the extermination clause out of the deal?
It's a very great, like, not quite a fourth wall break moment, but it's a very fair like thing for him to yell, given how she's taken him out. And there is kind of this like almost like drunken master, like accidental aspect to it that it's frustrating, because you're like, we should have killed her hours ago, but she's smart, and we don't get a ton of background on Grace. I wish we would have gotten a little more background as far as like who she was prior to Alex, but they give you enough for you just to know that she's not some simpleton, that she's very well adjusted, and she's able to use use her surroundings to go ahead and survive just in general. I love the way that this film plays with Alex, in the sense of, you're kind of like, is he going to stick up for his to his family, or is he going to? And I was sitting there the whole time. I even told Alea, I'm like, yeah, this guy sucks. There's like the moment he gets a chance to fuck her over, he's going to, because he's a pussy. At the end of the day, he's a pussy. There's this conversation that her and Becky have, and she's just like, like we love you. We were here for you before, before she was, and you're like the next, you're the next heir. So why are you gonna throw it all away for some girl? Like, that's essentially it. And yeah, he folds. He folds like a cheap tent, and you're just like, wow, what a douche. But then you have someone like Daniel, who for me is the most interesting character, because he is, as we mentioned, he's just tired. Like, he's like the I know we mentioned the dude from Boy Kills World, but it's also very similar to the dude from Pineapple Express, where he's just like, I just want to go home and sleep and just like have dinner. Like, I'm over this shit. And his death is fucking brutal. Like, the way he dies, I was like, god damn.
Yeah, death is kind of played with this almost Looney Tunes sense of humor to it, but his is played with the utmost sincerity. It's played unbelievably straight.
Yeah, he even says, she even says, like, I knew you would help me, and he was like, I didn't, and you're just like, man, like that line was razor thin between if he was gonna screw her over or not, and I love the ending of this. Like, the movie basically turns into, like, it does what Abigail does, and Abigail is very rewarding in that way too.
Like the movie just plays with that idea of like, is the curse real? Because sunrise has already happened. They're not dead yet, and the great aunt is like, "Fuck all that. She'd still die."
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and when I say explode, I mean like scanners explode. Like, you're just like I was just rewatching, because Alea hadn't seen it. Like, quick segue. Alea and I, we do a movie week every or a new movie every week, and I've seen so much. Like even I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I did see that, but she hadn't seen Tropic Thunder.
Wow.
So I put on Tropic Thunder last night, because she was in the bathroom, like doing her skincare, and she hears the I love the pussy. She's like, wait, what the fuck are you watching? I'm like, oh, I'm watching Al Pacino. She's like, wait, what? And so she sits down and starts watching. She's like, how have I never watched this all the way through? I'm like, oh, well, you need to. And of course, she fucking loves it. But it's like when he steps on the Steve Coogan steps on the landmine, and you're like, wait, what? And he just like kaboom, and he's gone. Once the family members start going kaboom, you're like, oh wow, the curse was real. That's
wow. Holy shit, it was real.
Like, it's fantastic.
And it And immediately, like as they start exploding, the same record from the start of the movie when they start playing hide and seek starts playing.
Dude. Okay, so
I couldn't have wrote a better ending.
I'm happy you brought that up because that record, that hide and seek like song, that was like a spoon in a teacup from Get Out for me. Like I heard that shit, I was like, oh, I don't like that at all.
It's like hearing like Tiptoe Through the Tulips after watching Insidious.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
the wind.
It's
I can't hear that song anymore. Nope.
It's the wolf's whistle from Puss in Boots: Last Wish. Like it's like that thing you hear, and you're just like, I don't like this at all. But the final line in the film, when the cop's like, "What happened?" and she just goes, "In-laws." I went, perfect, like fucking perfect ending.
100%, you're going to prison, but yeah, perfect.
I mean, yeah, but like it's so good. It's so goddamn good. This is so much fun. Like at the end of the day, like this is just a fun fucking flick. And Samara Weaving, she gets it. She gets how to get a lot out of a character that we don't have a lot of background on, and you just find yourself rooting for her. The family suck, but they're like they're charming in how they suck. We didn't mention him yet, but Christian Brun plays Fitch, and Fitch is like the biggest douche in the world, but he's like hilarious though.
But he plays it so funny. He's like the most obnoxious frat bro that you've ever met, except he's actually funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like he would be that guy who asks you for like a PBR and not just a beer in general. Like he would specifically say PBR. He's fucking hilarious.
He's that type of guy who got really into crypto and made it his whole vibe for like 2 years.
God. Yeah, speaking of high doggett, I couldn't help myself, but he's fucking wonderful. And I will say too, we didn't mention it, but there are these masks that they wear at certain points that are the stuff of fucking nightmares. Of like, no fucking thank you. Like you only see the masks a couple times. But
you can't have a satanic cult without some masks in there. That's like part of the deal. That's like that is in the contract and the deal with Satan.
That's fair. But yeah, as far as my grade though, man, I don't know if I like Abigail more, but I really enjoyed, like, I really fucking enjoyed, like, this is something that I will be watching.
The only problem I really have with Abigail is that I watched trailers for it and it gives away the biggest twist of the movie, because so long of that
that's fair
is like just a straight kidnapping thriller when you already know the twist going in if you've seen a trailer.
Yeah, I was able to avoid most trailers, so by the time I like put it on, I'd forgotten it enough, so that the reveal worked for me. I will say with this movie, I really do think it's like a perfect double feature with like, if you really wanted to go triple dub, you could do this, The Menu, and Abigail, and you would have a very fun afternoon. But as far as a grade for me, I'd go A- on this. I really enjoyed this. This will be added to the Halloween watch yearly annual watch list now. That's right there with the Scream movies and Becky and the Wrath of Becky, but just as some other ones. But yeah, Samara Weaving nails this, and the ending is so rewarding. That final third is just like, it's so much what you want, and it's just like, yeah, this is what I was here for. And yeah, the way it plays with the expectations, yeah, A- for me. I really enjoyed this. So Nick,
just industrial fire hoses full of blood. It's amazing.
Yeah, that last third, like if you're squeamish on blood, don't watch this, because that last third,
and when Alex gets his, when he starts exploding, and I love that Mr. LaBelle has a sense of humor. Like he just waits for Grace to throw the ring at him before pulling the pin.
Oh, that's one thing I will say too, ladies. If this ever, heaven forbid, if this ever happens to you, pawn the ring. Like, don't leave the ring. Like, at least get some money off the shit. But yeah, if this happened on a Sunday, she's starting counseling on Monday. But yeah, Nick, your final thoughts and grades, sir.
Oh, dude, when I first saw this in 2019, it was kind of in that summer where after Avengers Endgame, a lot of the big summer releases were like sequels or, shit we never asked for, like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, freaking Men in Black International. And there was a lot, and there was almost like this drought of great original or at least non like big IP connected movies. So when this movie came out, it was almost a breath of fresh air. It was like, wow, this is this like really cool studio horror movie from these guys who I think this was their feature length debut, because Radio Silence, they've done shorts for VHS and for Southbound. And in my opinion, they did the best short of the first VHS, which was 10/31/98, which was the one where the frat boys like go into a haunted house, except it's actually haunted and there's an exorcism going on.
Oh shit! Okay,
it's fantastic. And here you get what I think is a star-making performance from Samara Weaving, because she'd been in stuff before. She'd been in Mayhem. She'd been in the Babysitter movies. But this was really the role that solidified her as one of our scream queens. Supporting cast is great as well. Everyone from Henry Czerny to Andy McDowell, they all get a lot of meat to chew on their scenes. The set dressing and just the way that this movie is shot, all of it is phenomenal. And that perfect balance of the horrific violence with that almost Looney Tunes or like Itchy and Scratchy type of lens to the violence. This movie is one of my favorite horror movies of the last, I think, at least 10 years or so. And this is on my annual rewatch list. It doesn't feel like Halloween without me watching Ready or Not at least once.
That's awesome,
so
man.
This is an A+ for me.
Fuck yeah, let's go. And let me be clear, with Nick giving an A+, I just personally, I can't get there with it, but I adore this movie. And this is going to be something, I could see this being a movie I like more on rewatches. But I will say there's one scene that I was just like, oh, you asshole, where the butler, she's able to knock him out, and she doesn't run him over, and I'm just like, bitch, you gotta don't double tap for the love of God. And
that is also my one critique, because she had the chance to completely get away, but this is also rational people don't make smart decisions when they are in fear for their lives.
Yeah, you're in survival mode.
I kind of get that. However,
no, I do too.
She's kind of been the MVP of the whole movie, and this is the one chance that she fumbled.
Yeah, but it's kind of especially now, given being a cat dad, it's like when Ripley goes back for the cat. It's like, you goddamn right, you better go back for the cat. It's like dumb. Yes, do I get it,
dude?
Also,
I am also a cat dad. And I'm like, nah, I can get another cat.
Oh yeah, no, dude, I'd go back. I'd be mad at him. I'd be like, you fuckers, you need to run. You need to meet me halfway. But I get it. I'd go back for him. That granted, Katzen is a scaredy cat, so he'd probably be running with me. But yeah, I'd go back. But yeah, y'all, Ready or Not, it's on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, but even if you don't, I think it's one of those Prime Day deals too. So I think it's on sale. I think it's $9. It's well worth $9.
It is well worth $9. I think I also got it on a Prime Day release. So yeah, and it goes in my downloads list for whenever I go out to see.
Yeah, so definitely check this out. Like I said, if you like some violence, you're gonna love this. If you like, if you like bottle films, you're gonna like it. Like there's so much to enjoy about this. So check this out. But yeah, that's our review of Ready or Not. Nick, I thank you so much for joining us, man. If you could please tell the people where they can find you on socials and everything before we let you go.
Oh, absolutely. You can find me on every social media on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Letterboxd at Night and Day Nick. You can find my podcast, The Afternoon Tune, streaming weekly every Friday or Saturday on twitch.tv/Afternoon Tune. You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts at Afternoon Tune. We have videos going up on YouTube daily. We just hit a little over almost 1,200 subs. Let's get us to 15 before the end of the month. We just posted reviews for Strange Darling, for Terminator Zero, posted reviews for Deliverance, Rebel Ridge, the original Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah, I'm on the review for Deliverance, by the way, which oh man, yeah, that's number 4 currently on my worst of.
Dude, I still haven't checked it out, but I'm gonna be honest, every single thing you said about that movie just makes me want to watch it more.
I know you say that now, and you're gonna watch it and go, okay. So I will be watching Night Swim next week before I go see AEW. Yeah, I put it on the list. I put it on the list for worst stuff. Shit, I kind of need to watch by the end of the year, but I figure given the month, I might as well just watch it next week. So I'm gonna suck it up. But everyone I've talked to that's a horror head like you is like, dude, you're not gonna like what you watch. So I'm preparing myself, but
it made me want to slap Jason Blum. My last visit to my parents' house, I almost spit in the pool. It's like, I know what you did.
God damn. But Nick, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you. And we'll have you on once you're back. But you have a good night, man.
Of course, you too, man. Thank you.
All right, kids. So now I have a review for Joker. Folie Adieu. This film just came out this past weekend, and quite frankly, sound the alarms. This is bad. This is off to a very, very bad start. This opened up with $40 million domestic, which is half, less than half of the first film. Which is fucking wild. Joker back in 2019 opened up to a $96.2 million debut. This opening up to 40. So I mean that means next weekend with new releases. What does come out this week? I think it's Saturday Night Live. The Saturday Night Live film. I think that's the big release this week. But yeah, this did not do well. And if you're DC, what are you saying right now? And I think what you're saying is you didn't advertise this. They didn't advertise this at all. The one interview that I saw for this film, like Joaquin Phoenix isn't doing press to my knowledge. I think he did like the Today Show or something like that, but that's really it. Gaga I saw on Jimmy Kimmel, I believe, but the press for this is weirdly similar to Aquaman. And I made that comparison because Aquaman also made over $1 billion with its original film. But with the DCEU reboot coming and James Gunn now at the head of DC Comics as far as the film division, they very much with Aquaman are like, oh yeah, here's Aquaman. Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. You know, we made this movie. If you want to watch it, cool. If not, we don't give a shit. And they went ahead and just released it like it was nothing. And it's very similar to the production and to the press here, because all this movie screams to me is that Todd Phillips didn't want to do it. That's all this comes across like. Todd Phillips was like, This first one made $1 billion. I hate that it made $1 billion. Fuck y'all for having it make $1 billion. I'm gonna punish you for over 2 hours. And that's essentially what this film is. This film really does hate its audience. And the last film that I felt like this in terms of like something that I think just hates its audience is Rise of Skywalker, which also came out in 2019, ironically enough. So of course, if you don't remember, Rise of Skywalker basically spends the first hour erasing most of the canon established by The Last Jedi, and then goes, all right, now the movie's going to go ahead and get started. And I made the point that DC Comics, it doesn't matter in the sense of, they have all these iconic characters. They have these characters that should be just money makers, but it really feels like they love to get in their own way. And with Joker, look, you can go back and listen to the review. I'm not crazy about the film. I think I gave it a B- when we reviewed it, because that's the last review that Scott and Colin did for the pod, at least the three of us together. And yeah, I remember saying, like, I just thought it was, I think Joaquin is incredible in it. I think the film really rides his performance in terms of the quality of it, but it's a film that wants to have a lot to say, but won't shut the fuck up. Like, it has nothing to say. It really is just white noise. And the film is acting like it's some great social experiment that's talking about the downtrodden of society. And what this film shows really is that first film was bullshit. It basically negates itself in the way that the film ends. And I just went, wow, that's a really, quite frankly, a pretty fucked up way to treat your audience, because whether I like the first film or not, people did invest in it. People invested their time in it. People clearly saw it multiple times. You don't make a film that makes over $1 billion and not have people see it multiple times. So again, my feelings about it aside, people did support it. But it really felt like people went, oh, wow, you conned us. And I think the con really starts with the musical aspect, because when they announced that they were doing a sequel, which, by the way, it was very funny to hear people go, oh, they wouldn't do a sequel to Joker. They wouldn't sell out like that. I remember telling people, and I came on the podcast and said it to y'all, once the film made $500 million, I went, oh yeah, a sequel's incoming. It doesn't fucking matter if they have a story or not. They're doing a goddamn sequel. And yeah, of course they did. After making over $1 billion, Joaquin winning an Oscar, the film won multiple Oscars. So I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all. How many Oscars did they win? They won. Let's see. So the film had 11 nominations, which is insane. And then I'm trying to find how many Oscars it won. But yeah, it did very okay, so it won 2. Nominated for 11, won 2, but it won Best Actor for Joaquin, and then it won Original Score for Hildur. I'm not even going to try that last name, but yeah, the film won 2 Oscars. That's fucking impressive. So going into this, I went, all right, can they at least hit the same highs? Because that film had some highs, mostly, again, mostly Joaquin stuff, but that film also has some low lows, and I immediately go back to the Batman origin that they throw in for no goddamn reason, by the way. It's fucking ridiculous, but they go ahead and they do that, and I was like, all right, let's see what they can do here. And the film opens up with this very weird animated sequence, and I'm gonna be honest, y'all, that opening is what made me kind of go, shit. Like, I was like, shit, I think I'm in trouble, and I don't think I'm gonna like this. It's a very weird opening. It's kind of like Peter Pan-esque, where like the shadow is like making him do bad things. So like the short is kind of like, oh, maybe the Joker and Arthur aren't the same person. Maybe it's like a split personality disorder. And the film runs with that. They even bring up that point as far as in the court case for Arthur Fleck, that maybe the Joker is a split personality. Like maybe Arthur didn't really do it, which, if you're a lawyer, sure, you're going to go ahead and push that narrative, but pushing it to your audience, you're like, oh, you're telling me that this isn't Joker and that he's not really the clown prince of crime. And what's really funny is once they started introducing that, my brain went, wait, if they're kind of pushing this, are they going to end it the way that I'm very concerned that they're going to? And they end up doing that. And I'll say that for the spoiler section. But as far as things I liked, I do like Joaquin in this. There's a couple scenes in this movie that do work for me. There's a courtroom scene in particular that that really works for me, where he has this testimony, about what he did as far as his kills. I'm blanking on the dude who I'm blanking on the guy who was in the first film, but I don't have it here. But yeah, he was in the first film. He's the little person from the first film. And I love his speech. I love his testimony. You can just tell that this is breaking him, and it's the closest representation to feeling like Arthur's consequences actually did shit in Gotham. That is one of the things, like, yeah, they show protesters outside. There's some people dressed like him, but you never really, for me especially, I never felt like the consequences of what Arthur did really affected Gotham. I think a montage of showing like people marching in the streets and like chanting his name or stuff like that. You could have done a montage, something like that, to go ahead and really push that narrative. I don't think they do a good job with it. Yeah, he has some porters or whatever, but I don't know, that impact felt much more implied than actually shown to me. The way that it does go ahead and have an impact is that it inspires Lady Gaga as a Lee Quinn, not Harley Quinn. And DC, okay, let's have a conversation about this. DC, can you stop doing that? Like, you have oh my god, I'm so bad. You have fucking you have Batwoman, Stephanie. I'm blanking on her last name. I should know this. I just woke up from that nap, y'all. But you have Stephanie. You have the Robin name drop in Dark Knight Rises. Like, if you're gonna use these characters, can you make them like somewhat close to the comic counterpart? Lady Gaga, Oscar winner. She won an Oscar for song. Oscar nominated actress. Emmy winner, Grammy winner. You think you would be pushing these things when you go ahead and talk about her. They don't mention her accolades at all, like during the press tour, which I found absurd. And also, furthermore, it really feels like she's just there for the musical numbers. Like, they really don't give her a ton of acting stuff to do. I mean, there are a couple scenes of her and Joaquin, but she's really underutilized here. It's kind of amazing how underutilized she is. When you watch something like A Star Is Born, like, that becomes her movie. And I was really sitting there going, okay, you're gonna ride this Joker Harley thing out to the end, right? And no, there's this point where they kind of drop it. And the way in which they drop it, I went, wow, I hate that. And wow, that is a slap in the face of your audience who actually invested in this version of the Joker because you told them to in your first film. And I found myself fucking flabbergasted by it. Zazie Beetz ends up coming back. Sophie is back in the film. And the way that her testimony goes makes no goddamn sense to me, because she knows way too much about Arthur for the very limited amount of time that we were told she spent with him or spent with his mother. Like, the timeline makes no sense in the way that they do that. It's very much like they pulled that out of their ass. And that's really been my biggest gripe with this film. Say what you will about the first film, but there's clearly a template there. Hey, let's take Taxi Driver, let's take the King of Comedy, let's throw DC coat of paint on it, and let's call it good. That's essentially what that first Joker film is, but without any without any parameters to go ahead and stay within as far as filmed, it didn't fucking matter. Todd Phillips was just left to his own devices. And it really reminded me too of that first Transformers, where you could feel that Steven Spielberg was around as executive producer to kind of help steer the ship. Martin Scorsese nor Bradley Cooper, to my knowledge, are producers on this film. So when shit just starts to fall apart, you're like, oh, okay, they weren't around to kind of steer this. And it shows. This film feels like it was made by someone who's extremely bitter. It felt like Todd Phillips thought that first Joker film was going to be his ascent to maybe making shit like like Greta Gerwig, like being thought of in that conversation of director. And it wasn't, because I think a lot of people like myself went, this is one of those films that does not deserve the Oscar praise that it's getting. It's getting this praise because people really kind of wanted, a quote art house, quote unquote, Oscar film to break through. And this just happened to be the one that did it. So it's one of those things that I was just like, wow, I really do hate that this is the one of these that happens to break through. But at the end of the day, what this film does is a whole lot of nothing. It has nothing to say. The musical numbers, while I think the actual like stage is good on them, you see it in the trailer. There's that Joker and Harley show. It makes me think of the Walk Hard Variety Hour. That's all I kept thinking. But it like the actual set is really cool. But as far as the actual musical numbers, they all just really blended together for me. Joaquin, I think, is a decent singer, but in no way would I say like, oh yeah, you have to do a musical. It's the same complaint I had about the West Side Story remake, where, yeah, it's cool that Spielberg's redoing this, but Baby Driver can't fucking sing, and it's distracting. While Joaquin isn't distractingly bad, I didn't think his voice it was nearly strong enough for him to be, the lead of a fucking musical. But again, this goes back to them not knowing what this is. Is it a sequel to Joker? Is it a musical? Not really. This is more of a epilogue to Joker than an actual film. And so because you put the gimmick of the whole musical on top of that, it actually detracts from it being a sequel. So it doesn't serve either function. So you really just get a blob, essentially. And when this movie got to its end, and I think most of y'all can figure out probably how it ends, but the actual ending, look it up if you want to know. I don't even want to do a spoiler. I just want to get out of here. But that ending is one of those, oh my God, really? Like, I genuinely rolled my eyes and just started laughing when I got to the end. I was like, cool. Like, of course you would end it like this because you hate your audience. And it sucks. It really sucks because it really does feel like DC went out of their way to be vindictive. And considering they fucking shelved Batgirl, I'm like, fuck off. Really? This is what you're giving me instead? There's no way that Batgirl is worse than this. There's no fucking way. So yeah, as far as a grade, I had this like at a C minus when I saw it on Thursday. Like, I'm at a D minus, like F plus on this at this point. I'm gonna go F plus at this point. I'd give it a star. I thought this shit was maddening. I thought it was frustrating. I thought that they should have known better. And at the end of the day, this is a film that does hate its audience in the way that I think Rise of Skywalker does, where they just went, we just have to do this film to do it. Like, there's no love behind this. There's no passion. There's none of us actually wanting to entertain you. We're just making this because we know this property will make money. And unlike Rise of Skywalker, this film is not making $1 billion. This film will be lucky to get to 500 million. It did open up to like 121 global. So I don't know, y'all. Like, I think this Beetlejuice did cross 400 million. So I mean, that's a success for them. But I'll tell you, y'all, I don't think they. I think this film. I think 400 million is about its ceiling as far as where it's going to finish. But yeah, y'all, this is bad. This is really fucking bad. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you. This is not here for you. This is not good. But yeah, y'all. So I'm gonna go F+ on it. But yeah, whatever, I guess. But yeah, that's my review for Joker Folie à Deux. So, y'all, have y'all seen Joker? Let me know in the comments if you have or not. As far as what we've got coming up, I'm gonna have a review for The Last of Us coming up. I'm gonna upload this review tomorrow. I'm going to have a review for the new indie horror film Wineville, as well as an interview with star and director Brandy Wark from the film. Brandy was fucking awesome. I'm really excited for y'all to catch that review. So I'm gonna have a review up for that. This weekend I'll have a review up for Saturday Night and the Wild Robot. I'll also have a review up for Maxine this weekend, continuing more to our horror series, our Real Scary series. So yeah, y'all got some more stuff coming up for y'all. I am gonna be going to check out AEW Dynamite live next Wednesday, which fuck yeah, I'm so excited. So I'll have a live review for Dynamite. I don't know how long it'll be, but I'll go live for a few minutes to talk about it. But yeah, y'all, I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited to see AEW. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I'll be streaming Batman the Telltale series and Resident Evil 4 later this month. I gotta learn some new software because I'm learning Streamlabs. But yeah, I'll be streaming that for y'all. I'm really excited to get into some game streaming. It's been long overdue. But yeah, and then I'll in the next couple weeks we'll have other horror reviews. As well as a review for Baby Reindeer, which definitely counts as horror, which I'm going to have my mom on, Chris Greer, to go ahead and talk about that with me and review that with me. So that'll be a fun review as well. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this Sunday stream. Stay safe, take care of each other, give someone a hug, give someone a compliment. We could all use some more positivity. And never forget, as always, to keep it real. Have a great night, y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.